Kalsum! Today, she went to the mountains to gather wild fruits and herbs. She returned with a full sack from her harvest. This morning, Kalsum was sitting in front of the tent, combing Meryl's hair. She murmured softly, "In just a few days, you'll be going to school. Back to your parents." Iran's 3-month summer vacation was coming to an end. Meryl had returned to spend these last few days with her family. Even though Meryl isn't Kalsum's child, she has always treated this little girl with the same love and care as her own daughter. From food and clothing to daily life, she worries over every little detail. She even saves her gentlest side for the children. After she finished combing Meryl's hair, her mother-in-law mentioned from nearby that she had a cold. She asked Kalsum to go to the mountains to gather some herbs. These kinds of requests were common in the household. But regarding her mother-in-law's request, Kalsum did not refuse, nor did she show any unwillingness. Right away, she grabbed her long worn-out shoes and put them on, preparing to set out. At that moment, she couldn't help but speak to her mother-in-law about her husband. She said her husband, Ali Hayat, had already been in prison for 2 years, and had another year before he could get out. She worried she couldn't last that long. These were words Kalsum never dared to speak to anyone else. Only with her mother-in-law could she lower her defenses and express the sorrow and helplessness she bottled up inside. Once she was ready, Kalsum slung the sack over her shoulder and started up the mountain path alone. She planned to pick some wild berries. She knew there was a type of wild fruit in the mountains that was currently in season. It had certain medicinal properties and might help relieve her mother-in-law's cold symptoms. Kalsum eventually reached the top of a canyon. The wild fruit she was looking for grew within this canyon. If she followed the cliff edge, it would be easier to see the fruit below. Up ahead, she spotted a small wild pistachio tree. Its branches were hanging full with clusters of fruit, most of which were already ripe. She picked some to take back. They would be a perfect snack for the children to try. She had gathered this type of fruit many times before. Kalsum picked a few handfuls of the small pistachios, and then continued walking, searching for the main wild fruit and herbs she needed. She paused from time to time, looking at the mountain path ahead, to find that specific fruit. She still had a long way to go. Kalsum picked up her pace, sometimes breaking into a jog. When she got tired, she just walked quickly. Her figure moved through the valley, as if she was being chased by time. She was in a hurry to find the wild fruits and herbs she needed. After walking for a long time, Kalsum felt thirsty, and her steps began to feel heavy. She stopped and gathered some dry firewood. She prepared to build a fire to boil water, make a pot of tea, and rest her weary body before continuing. Luckily, there was a dry shrub right beside her. On this plateau, the sunlight is intense, and the land is extremely dry. Many shrubs and plants wither early because of it. These dry branches and leaves are perfect to use as fuel. After lighting the fire, Kalsum took out her kettle and poured in the bottle of water she had brought. Considering today's long and tiring journey, Kalsum had prepared well. She now took out some flatbread and an onion. She used a small knife to peel off the skin and cut it into pieces, eating it raw with the bread. Although it had a strong, sharp taste, Kalsum didn't mind at all. She was used to eating this way. Soon, she finished her simple lunch and drank a cup of hot tea. Then she packed up her things ready to get back on the road. Before leaving, she didn't forget to move some stones to surround the embers. She packed down the ashes so the wind couldn't carry sparks and start a wildfire. After finishing, she looked toward the canyon ahead. The wild fruit she was looking for was there. So Kalsum put the sack on her back and headed out. She soon came to a downward slope. From here, she could make her way deeper into the canyon, closer to where the wild fruit grew. On the branches of the shrub in front of her hung tiny little berries. They were already turning a reddish-purple color. This wild fruit is barberry, a common wild fruit in the valleys. It has a sour, tart taste with unique medicinal properties. Kalsum began to pick them and put them in her bag. This was the main purpose of her trip. Barberry is a common shrub in the mountains. It likes sunny places with dry soil. It often takes root in canyons, on hillsides, or even in rock crevices. Even in harsh environments, it can grow stubbornly. Its branches are covered in small thorns, protecting the clusters of reddish-purple fruit. The ripening season for barberries is usually from late summer to fall. As the days pass, its fruit will gradually turn from green to bright red. Then it changes again, showing a deep purple or even a blackish-purple color. When the berries are plump and look like they're about to fall off, that is the sign they are truly ripe. Some of these barberry bushes have fruit that ripened a bit earlier, already turning a deep red or purple. Others are still slightly green, with a paler color and a stronger sour taste. In this canyon, there are many barberry bushes growing, and the quality is quite good. The berries are plump and full. Kalsum carefully selected the ones that were most ripe and had the best color. There are many varieties of barberry, about 500 different species worldwide. You can find them in Iran, China, Afghanistan, and other places. Because of this, barberries don't all look the same. The ones here are mostly oval, but there are also long and round berries. In the eyes of the local people, barberry isn't just a sour little fruit. It's often used as an herbal medicine to treat fatty liver, stomach problems, and even some chronic illnesses. When someone has a cold or fever, people will also make barberry tea. They say it can clear heat and detoxify and relieve symptoms. In addition to that, it's also used in cooking and in porridge. The sour taste can boost appetite. It's often cooked together with rice. That is one of the most classic ways to eat it. Some people also dry the fruit and save it as a snack or a seasoning. Kalsum mumbled to herself. Barberries are quite expensive, but no one is willing to come to these places to pick them. Kalsum picked for a while and had already filled half her bag with barberries. She felt that was enough and prepared to head back home. It was already getting late. On the way back, Kalsum came across another barberry bush. The fruit on its branches looked even darker. She quickly picked a small handful and continued on her way home. Today's harvest was already more than enough. She wasn't greedy. She left the rest for others to pick. The sun was already sinking low. Kalsum started walking faster, trying to get home as soon as possible. When she reached her home, she saw Samir. She hurried over to hug her child. After a long day of hard work and travel, in this moment, she felt only peace and warmth. Kalsum asked her mother-in-law where Meryl and Bazigash were. Her mother-in-law said they both went to the mountains to herd the sheep. They hadn't come back yet. Kalsum put down her sack, took out the barberries, holding them in her palm, and asked Samia if she knew what this was. Samia said she didn't know. The mother-in-law poured the barberries onto a tray. Soon, the tray was completely full. Looking at this pile of fruit, the mother-in-law also felt satisfied. This was enough to last them for a long time. Inside the bag, there were still some small pistachios. These were saved as a snack for the children. Besides the fruit, Kalsum had also picked a plant with medicinal value. Although it wasn't much, the main harvest from this trip was still the full tray of barberries. They will keep some of these barberries to eat, and the rest will be laid out to dry. After baking in the sun for a few days, the barberries will slowly shrivel and become light. Their color will also get darker, turning to a deep red. The dried barberries prepared this way can not only be stored for several months, but will even last for a year with no problem.